Good morning, friends. We are starting lesson 10 in Wit and Wisdom. We're starting a whole new book today, and I'm really excited about it. It's called Me, Jane by Patrick McDowell. So remember, our essential question is, what can we discover about animals' features? We've been talking about unique features of animals. Our focus question for this lesson and the next upcoming lessons will be, how did Jane Goodall make discoveries about animals? And our content framing question today is, what do I notice and wonder about me, Jane? So in this lesson, we're introduced to a new text, Me, Jane, which documents the life of Jane Goodall from a young age. You're going to notice and wonder things about this text, and we're going to learn new vocabulary words from this text also. And we're going to learn on how to build an informative paragraph. So what I'd like to do before we get started is I want us to talk about the vocabulary in this story. So I'm going to let us watch that video on our vocabulary. So let me share my screen with you. Oops, get that off of here so I can get to our vocabulary. Sorry, friends.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Grade 1, Module 2, Vocabulary. My name is Mr. Dieter, and today we will be practicing vocabulary from Focusing Question Arc 2. Let's get started. Our first word is chimpanzee. Say it after me. Chimpanzee.
Chimpanzee.
The word chimpanzee means a type of ape that uses tools and often lives in parts of Africa. In our picture, we see a chimpanzee. Let's listen to this word and its definition in Spanish.
El chimpancé significa un tipo de simio que usa herramientas y vive en partes de África.
Let's practice. First, listen as I read this sentence aloud. Jane Goodall wanted to learn more about chimpanzees. This time, repeat after me. Jane Goodall wanted to learn more about chimpanzees. Awesome. Our next word is curious. Say it after me. Curious. The word curious means excited or eager to learn. In our picture, we see someone wondering. She must be curious about something, eager to learn about it. Let's listen to this word and its definition in Spanish.
Curioso, curiosa, significa emocionado o impaciente por aprender.
Practice time. I'm going to read this sentence aloud. When you hear one of our vocabulary words, I want you to tug on your ear like this. Ready? Jane was curious about these animals. Did you tug on your ear when you heard the word curious? Awesome. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to discuss your response to this question with a learning partner. That might be your dad or your mom, your brother or your sister, even a stick figure named Bob. Hey, Bob. Bob? How's it going? Here's the question. What are you curious about? We want to try to practice using our vocabulary words as much as we can this week. So your response should sound something like this. I am curious about blank. Pause the video now and discuss your response with your learning partner.
All right. I am curious about blank. So turn to your learning partner and tell them what you're curious about. Well, I'm curious about why Jane Goodall wants to study monkeys or chimpanzees. Maybe this story will help me figure it out.
You might have said something like, I am curious about the weather. Awesome. Our last word is observe. Say it after me. Observe.
Observe.
The word observe means to watch carefully. In our picture, we see someone observing some ants, watching them carefully. Let's listen to this word and its definition in Spanish.
Observar significa ver cuidadosamente.
Let's practice. First, listen as I read this sentence aloud. Jane observed chimpanzees to make discoveries. This time, repeat after me. Jane observed chimpanzees
Jane observed chimpanzees
to make discoveries.
to make discoveries.
Awesome. Let's review. Today, we practiced these 3 vocabulary words. Say them after me. Chimpanzee,
Chimpanzee,
curious,
curious,
observe.
observe.
As always, I had so much fun practicing our vocabulary words together. Remember, practice using these words as much as you can when you talk and when you write this week. And I'll see you next time on Vocabulary in Sync. Bye.
Bye. Excuse me. So let me escape there. Let me hide this. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get into our story. We've learned 3 vocabulary words that you're going to see throughout the story. So now I would like to get into the lesson itself. All right. So let's get started on that.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to Wit and Wisdom in Sync. My name is Tanisha Spears, and I'm excited to jump into our lesson. But let's make sure you have all of your materials ready. For this lesson, you will need a copy of the text, Me, Jane, if you have it. You'll need your Wit and Wisdom in Sync journal and a pencil. Pause the video now if you need to gather your materials.
All right, go get your journal and your pencil, friends.
Today, we'll begin a new text, Me, Jane. And you will make observations about what you notice and wonder about the text. You'll also begin thinking about why writing topic sentences is important. And you'll learn the criteria for writing topic statements. Before we look at the new text, let's take a moment to review our essential question, or the big question that we are building knowledge to answer. And that question is, what can we discover about animals' unique features? I'll say it one more time. What can we discover about animals' unique features. I want you to think for a minute. What animal did the mice discover in Seven Blind Mice?
What did they discover in Seven Blind Mice? An elephant. Yeah, let's see if we're right.
That's right. The mice discovered an elephant. And I want to emphasize the word discovered. Discovered. The mice discovered the elephant.
Excuse me.
While we are exploring our new text, we are going to focus on this question. How did Jane Goodall make discoveries about animals? See that word again? Discover, discovered, and discoveries. So we are going to make some discoveries as we are exploring this text. So let's get started. To frame our learning for today, we will make observations on what we notice and wonder about the text, Me Jane. Remember, good readers take time to notice and wonder about a text so that it can help them think about the text and understand what it means. Are you ready? Let's see what we notice and wonder, or what we can discover about the text, Me Jane. Take a look at the front cover of the text, Me Jane, written by Patrick McDonald. What do you notice about the front cover? What do you notice? Do you see anything that looks familiar? Just like in Seven Blind Mice, this was given the Caldecott honor. And it was given that honor because it shows the meaning of the text through the illustrations very, very well. Now, let's take a look at the back cover. What do you notice about the back cover? And listen as I read the words. Here is a story of a little girl named who dreamed of a life helping animals and grew up to help change the world. There are so many people who have dreamed seemingly unattainable dreams because they never gave up, achieved their goals against all odds, or blazed their paths along which others could follow. They inspire me. They inspire those around them. And that's a quote by Dr. Jane Goodall. What do you notice about the back cover? Here are a few things that I noticed.
What did you notice? Well, I noticed that there's a little girl and a monkey on the top side, but there's a photograph of an older lady and a monkey down low. Let's see what she noticed.
In this illustration, there's a girl and a monkey. And then in this photograph, there is a woman and a monkey too. And I wonder, who are they? Let's read some of the text to see if we can answer some of my questions. Okay, let's read some excerpts from the text. And remember, excerpts are small parts of the text to see if we can find answers to my questions, or maybe answers to the questions that you had. Jane learned all that she could about the animals and plants she studied in her backyard and read about in books. She and Jubilee snuck into Grandma Nut's chicken coop, hid behind some straw, stayed very still, and observed the miracle. Jane dreamed of a life in Africa too, a life living with and helping all animals. At night, Jane would tuck Jubilee into bed, say her prayers, and fall asleep, to awake one day to her dream come true. What more did you notice as you were listening to me read those excerpts? What more did you notice?
What did you notice as she read that? I noticed that she was a dreamer. She dreamed of working with animals. and she would always tuck her monkey in bed at night. What about you?
Here's what I noticed. I noticed the name Jane was mentioned a lot. And I realized that Jane is the little girl on the front cover, and her stuffed chimpanzee's name is Jubilee. What else did you notice? Share with your learning partner. Now, I want you to, what questions do you have? Feel free to use the question word that you see on this screen. What questions do you have?
Do you have a question that you could ask about this story?
Here are a few questions I had about the text Me Jane. Where did Jane go in Africa? And why did she like animals so much? Did you have some of the same questions? I bet you did. You probably also thought of other questions, and that is fantastic. Hopefully, as we go through the text, you will find answers to your questions. Now, what I'd like you to do, you're going to get your journal, and you are going to take a moment to write one observation and write one question. So again, you'll write one thing you noticed and one thing you wonder. Pause the video.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there because what I'd like to do now is I am going to read the story to you all, and that way you can write one thing that you observe and one thing that you wonder about. Okay, so let me stop sharing for the moment. All right, so that way you can see me and the book. It's called Me, Jane. Notice there's a picture of Jane and her stuffed monkey, Jubilee. Jane had a stuffed toy chimpanzee named Jubilee. She cherished Jubilee and took him everywhere she went, and Jane loved to be outside. She watched birds making their nest, spiders spinning their webs, and squirrels chasing one another up and down trees. Jane learned all that she could about the animals and plants she studied in her backyard, read about in books. Notice all the different sketches and drawings. She's got an alligator, she's got wings, she's got a wild bird puzzle. She's got animals that she would see out in Africa. She's got brains. One day, curious Jane wondered where eggs came from. So she and Jubilee snuck into Grandma Nut's chicken coop, hid behind some straw, stayed very still, and observed the miracle. It was a magical world full of joy and wonder, and Jane felt very much a part of it. Jane often climbed her favorite tree, which she named Beech. She would lay her cheek against the trunk and seem to feel the sap beneath the bark. Jane could feel her own heart beating, beating, beating. With the wind in her hair, she read and reread the books about Tarzan of the Apes, in which another girl, also named Jane, lived in the jungles of Africa. Jane dreamed of a life in Africa too. a life living with and helping all animals. At night, Jane would tuck Jubilee into bed, say her prayers, and fall asleep. To awake one day to her dream come true. Now, in your journal, I want you to write one observation. Okay, make sure you use capitals and punctuation. And then I want you to write one wonder question. What do you wonder about in this story? I'll give you a few minutes to do that, and then we'll go back into our lesson.
Video now to get started. If you need to take a break, pause the video now. When you're done, just start the video again.
And we're going to keep moving, okay, friends?
We have talked about the parts of an informative paragraph, so I want you to think for a minute. What parts do we identify of an informative paragraph? Tell your learning partner. What are the parts of an informative paragraph?
So what are the parts of an informative paragraph? Remember, let's look at my chart. The informative paragraph. You have a topic sentence, the facts and the details, and the conclusion of an informative paragraph. Great job.
That informative paragraph has three parts: the topic statement, the information, which includes the facts and the details, and a conclusion. Today, we're going to talk about why writing a topic statement is important. And you're going to have an opportunity to build on your skills while focusing on writing a topic statement. Remember, a topic statement tells the reader what the paragraph is about. Let's discuss some things that make a good topic statement. All right, friends, take a look at the chart on your screen. This is a chart that you will use to help you write informative paragraphs, and you will add to it as you learn more. This chart will also help you identify or determine how strong a topic statement is. Here's the criteria. Topic statements state the topic of the paragraph.
What it's about.
Topic statements make the reader want to read the paragraph, and topic statements include interesting words. Today, you'll use the criteria on this chart to pick a topic statement for a paragraph that does not have one. Are you ready? Let's try.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Follow along as I read the paragraph. A blue whale uses its tongue like a scoop to get food. Giraffes can scratch and lick their faces with their long tongues. A fork-tongued snake uses its tongue to smell. Some animals use their tongues in special ways. Think for a minute. What is this paragraph about?
What is that paragraph about? You're right. It's about special tongues, isn't it? Let's see if we're correct.
What is this paragraph about? Share with your learning partner. Did you mention tongues? I'm sure you did. Look at some example topic statements to see which one best fits this paragraph. Okay, I want you to think about the paragraph I just read. And I'm going to read some topic statements. And as I read, I want you to think about which topic statement best fits that paragraph. You're also going to remember the criteria that we went over. And you're going to think about which topic statement best fulfills the most criteria? Remember, here's a criteria. That topic statements state the main topic of the paragraph. That topic statements make the reader want to read the paragraph, and that topic statements include interesting words. I also have on the screen for you the paragraph, just in case you want to reread it while I'm reading the topic statements. Here we go. Animals use their tongues. Some animals have amazing tongues. Some animals have tiny tongues. Pause the video to write down the topic statement that you think is best in your. I said one more time. Pause the video to write down the topic statement you think best fits the paragraph in your journal.
Okay, so which topic sentence do you think best fits that paragraph? Animals use their tongues. Some animals have amazing tongues, or some animals have tiny tongues. What is that paragraph mainly about? Some animals have amazing tongues. Let's see.
Pause the video now and get started. All right, now let's reread the paragraph with the topic statement added. Which topic statement did you choose? As I reread the paragraph, I want you to see if your topic statement matches what I chose. Some animals have amazing tongues. A blue whale uses its tongue like a scoop to get food. Giraffes can scratch and lick their faces with their long tongues. A fork-tongued snake uses its tongue to smell. Some animals use their tongues in special ways. Did my topic statement match what you chose? I'm sure it did. Let's think about the criteria and the qualities of that topic statement. Some animals have amazing tongues. It definitely tells us what the paragraph is going to be about. It states the main topic, which is tongues. It also uses interesting words, like amazing. Think for a second. How does adding the topic sentence make the paragraph better? How does adding the topic sentence make the paragraph better? Tell your learning partner.
How does adding the topics make the topic better? It tells us what the paragraph's about, doesn't it?
All right, awesome first graders. Nice job making observations and thinking of questions about the new text and learning more about topic statements. Next time we'll continue reading the text, Me Jane. But until then, be kind and do something great because you are capable of greatness.
Okay. All right. That's the end of that video part of our lesson. So we did some noticing and wondering today about Me Jane, and we will go further into our story over the next few lessons. What I would like to do now is let's do a little bit of language to end our lesson. Today we're going to be talking about determiners and nouns. So let's talk about what is a noun. A noun is a person, place, or thing. So what we're going to do today is we are going to locate a noun in the sentence, and we will be able to locate the determiner to help us. So let's look at this sentence here. The class went to the zoo. Okay. What are the nouns in that sentence? Class and zoo. Now, a determiner is located in front of a noun. Okay, determiners are types of words that are used before the noun to help the reader determine or know what noun they're talking about. So what would be the determiner for class? The and zoo. The. Good job, guys. Let's look at a couple more sentences to see if we can find the determiner. She observed a chicken. Okay, what's the noun? Chicken. What's the determiner? A. Great job. Two more sentences to look at. She climbed a tree. What's the noun? Tree. And determiner? A. Great job. And our last sentence. She wanted to live in a jungle. What's the noun? Jungle. And what's the determiner? A. Awesome job. So why are determiners important? Because they help us tell what type of noun it is. Correct. All right. So one more thing we're going to look at, because we do have a fluency today. So you do have a new fluency to practice every night. So let me bring it up and let's go over it. Okay, so this is our new fluency homework. It's called Me, Jane by Patrick McDonald. It says, and Jane loved to be outside. She watched birds making their nest, spiders spinning their webs, and squirrels chasing one another up and down trees. So make sure you practice that every night, friends, okay? So, all right, friends, that is it for today's lesson. So make sure you practice your fluency tonight, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye.